he beat Canelo, he the baddest motherfucker in the last 30 years.
Trying to do a fight. What's the status of that?
We will see maybe next month, next 2 months, let's see.
Of course.
I know you're serious, but I've got to ask you for the people that are watching.
Of course.
Are you confident that that fight is a fight that you can win?
Well, I'm always confident that I can win any fight that I step foot in the ring.
After months of deliberations and the constant glare of drama, it looks as if the highly anticipated bout between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez might finally see the light of the day. The fight, which has been a point of contention in the boxing community, has undergone quite an upheaval journey, as throughout last year many failed attempts were made to get it done. However, now it looks as if it might just be the time for it. Based on countless alleged reports that have surfaced in the last couple of days, the Mexican reigning king is looking to face a worthy adversary earlier this year in May to defend his 3 168-pound titles, and Terence seems to be a leading contender on that particular list. Breaking this news on their Twitter account, prominent boxing outlet Televisa Puebla reported, "Back in the ring, everything points to Saul Canelo Alvarez's first fight in May or June 2025. Although his opponent has not yet been confirmed, people expect him to face Terence Crawford. The superstar fighter, who will be making his return to the boxing ring in May this year, is not only looking forward to the defense of his titles, but also to garner a good fight that will bring in the most pay-per-view buys." Expressing his thoughts on this potential matchup with Bud, Canelo maintained his usual nonchalance about how, although he might not go out of his way to pursue this bout given that Terence is almost 2 weight classes below him, if an appropriate offer is made by the officials involved, then he won't reject it. Canelo stated, "I'm in, why not? Don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter, but for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight, easy money." After witnessing this changed demeanor from the Mexican fighter who would completely shut down the idea of this fight just a few months ago, many people in the boxing industry have started to speculate if they might finally be seeing this fight. Terence Crawford, who has been quite adamant about this fight and has been vocalizing his sentiments surrounding it for many years. From these statements by Canelo, he too seems to be rejuvenated. Expressing his take on this during a recent appearance, Terence stated that though no definitive offers have been put forward, he is ready for this long-awaited bout to show everyone that he is the true generational great of this era.
We shall see, you know. Who knows?
That smile's telling me something else, bro. I think it might be on the line, no?
I'm just saying, man, we can't say it's not gonna happen. We can't say that it is. So, you know, let's all just wait and see. Of course.
I know you're serious, but I've got to ask you for the people that are watching.
Of course.
Are you confident that that fight is a fight that you can win?
Well, I'm always confident that I can win any fight that I step foot in the ring.
Terence also ventured into his reasons for continuously pushing for this fight, stating that though he might not want the fight with Canelo in itself because he does not really admire the fighter that much, he understands the glory that it will bring him because, after everything he has been able to achieve in the sport of boxing, this fight with a major contender in the 168-pound division will grant him the chance at cementing his legacy, because after he takes down a fighter who has been one of the greatest boxers in the eyes of the public, then he would automatically be elevated as the best of the best in this division as well.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm chasing Canelo. You know, I think that's a broad statement. I just want the opportunity, you know, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. You know, he's the most accomplished fighter in today's sports of boxing, other than myself. And I would just, you know, just like to, you know, fight another great. That's it. That's all. You know, if the fight, you know, happens, I think it'll be the biggest fight in the sport of boxing today. You know, Canelo is a big, strong competitor. He's a great fighter. He's a future Hall of Famer, and that's what we in the game for, is to leave a legacy that will last, surpass our lifetime.
Giving an insight on how he thinks that his fight with Canelo will conclude, Terence stated that all these claims about him being the weaker and easier fighter based on his smaller size are absurd, and not the first time he has heard these statements being made regarding himself. Vehemently believing that he will be the victor of this great fight, Terence emphasized that on fight night he will annihilate Canelo and drop him down no matter what difficulties he might face in this tumultuous journey leading to the fight of his dreams.
I ain't gonna break it down to you. You know what I mean? The strategy is leaving with my hand, you know, rose and everybody mouth dropping. That's how I can, you know, sums it up in a little bit of your answer right there. I'm the type of fighter that I make adjustments on the fly. So along my whole career, I do what's necessary to get the job done and secure a victory. And I feel like in the Canelo fight, I would do everything within my will and my power to do the same.
Now, although the Canelo fight seems to be the top priority in Terence's mind, he has not completely surrendered to the bouts in the 154-pound division, emphasizing that at this stage, after the miraculous last year that boxing has gone through, there is a lot of potential fighters who have caught his interest, and if his other wishes are not reciprocated, then he might just stick to his second plan and go for all the best fighters here, because no matter what, he is not prepared to give up boxing yet, as there is still a lot that he wants to contribute. In this interview, Terence also appeared open to the possibility of fighting on exotic lands of Saudi Arabia in hopes of gathering as much hype as possible.
There's a lot of fights out there at 154, you know, that's interesting me, that interests me. You know, like I said, the future is bright. The sport is going in the right direction. So we shall see where Terence Crawford leads. Who knows? You know, like I said, you know, we got to weigh our options and see what makes sense for Terence Crawford in his career.
Meanwhile, keeping an avid eye on the spectacular journey that Terence has been on since the beginning of his career, eminent coach and trainer Greg Heckett emphasized the fact that after deeply analyzing Bud's career and how he has been able to prove everyone wrong at every turn, no matter how many times he might have been underestimated, he has come out stronger than ever and has transformed into such a talented boxer who has outclassed everyone in 4 weight classes, which is an unprecedented feat in this modern era.
A lot of steps up, a lot of guys were supposed to beat him. A lot of guys were supposed to be too big for him, too fast, too strong. This one supposed to be too experienced, and he beat them all. All right, well now let's go back. But man, people don't get it. He was being counted out like a long time ago. He kept winning. Beat a lot of ass.
Talking about this incessant undermining that Bud still seems to be facing to this day, Greg highlighted that before every fight in his career, Bud was hardly ever considered the fan favorite, especially in the last couple ones against Errol Spence Jr. and Israel Madrimov, where according to many experts and boxing fanatics, Terence was doomed to face a bitter defeat, but every time he proved them wrong and won as if outclassing his own destined fate to write a much better one.
Because the weight classes is like a lot of times, I was there, people was doubting him. They doubted him against Spence. They doubted him against Madrimov. Some people say he was too small. I heard him. When he fought Victor Postal, he was too small. When he fought Gamboa, he ain't know enough.
Providing further elaboration on his take, Greg recounted all that Bud has achieved in such small time while managing to remain undefeated, stressing the fact that even though there are many other prominent fighters like Gervonta Davis in the game who are extraordinary in their own style, when it comes to Bud, everyone fades in comparison because he not only possesses such an immaculate skill set and boxing IQ, but he also seems to have this tenacity to always keep on pushing forward, which undoubtedly makes him the #1 pound-for-pound fighter of this era.
I'm saying Bud punching on shit at 35, 40, 47, and just won a belt at 54. All right, so you champion at 35, undisputed at 40 and 47, right? And then won another belt at 54. All right, so still undefeated. Fighting him. No, take a beast, but pound for pound, I think Bud. I give it Bud.
So you saying Bud #1?
Not changing his outlook even in the case of a Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez fight, most probably orchestrated sometime earlier this year, Greg made a rather bold declaration stating that as Canelo is hailed as one of the most gifted boxers of this generation, beating him will not only put Terence Crawford on the top of the game, but it will also label him the best fighter of this generation as well as the last 3 decades.
Beat Canelo, he #1 forever.
If he beat Canelo, he the baddest motherfucker in the last last 30 years.
Also hoping to see his close friend and most esteemed fighter become the greatest of all time. His Excellency, Turki Al-Sheikh, divulged how after he is done with the current ongoing projects that are underway, he will be looking forward to orchestrate a big fight for Terence Crawford possibly earlier this year. Addressing the claims about Terence suffering from a certain injury, Turki commented that although he was informed of this disposition by Terence himself in their last meeting, they are hopeful that he will recover in time for the fight, as he is undergoing strict rehabilitation procedures under the watchful gaze of adept trainers and professionals.
When is Crawford coming back? What are the plans for him?
I think he's injured now. We are planning to have something with him. I will discuss with him maybe in January. I see him last week in Hamburg. He said he's have a little injured, and he's starting to rehab now and training again. And we hope to. He's one of our plan to see him fight in 25.
During this interview, Turki also addressed his plans about possibly hosting a new Riyadh season event in America, just like last time that he did, way back on August 3rd last year, which included the main event of Terence Crawford versus Israil Madrimov. Though Turki appeared aloof about this particular idea, he did reveal that he would be coming to America to host an event, but this time it will be under the banner of The Ring, which is his personal acuity that provides him with more liberties.
We want, it is in the plan, but not Riyadh season, because maybe The Ring, because there is separate things. The Ring is my private equity, and Riyadh season is different. I have a plan for The Ring in America next year.
Despite his past reservations, it looks as if Turki might be hoping to organize a potential fight between Canelo and Crawford during one of these ventures, as he once again reiterated his wishes to arrange this lucrative event, as he has promised Terence countless times before that he will make it happen by convincing the allegedly stubborn and unflinching team representing the Mexican fighter. Looking forward to making an announcement regarding this pretty soon, Turki told the fans to patiently wait for the next couple of weeks in order to allow the team an appropriate window for negotiation.
We hope he wants this fight, and why not? We will see maybe next month, next 2 months, let's see.
However, on the other hand, unlike his fellow coach and organizers, renowned trainer Andre Rozier thinks that after the glorious rematch between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury that took place just a few days ago, Usyk has not only stolen Bud's spot as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter, but has also replaced him as the greatest fighter of this time. While highlighting the factors that Terence might utilize to reclaim his spot, Andre stated that at this point in time, the only way that Terence can ever be considered great again is if he moves up the weight class and takes on a very strenuous and notable adversary, but looking at the reality of things, this possibility appears to be slim to none. Elaborating his opinion, Andre stated that this potential move would not be appropriate for a fighter like Bud, and that he might end up doing more harm than good, so the best possible strategy for him would be to remain in the 154-pound weight division.
The only thing he could possibly do at this point to regain that status is to beat someone of note in another weight class, and I think 54 is going to be enough for him. Him going up to fighting, quote unquote, if it should happen, Canelo, I don't see that ending well. It's just too much and too far to go. But that's what it would take.
Addressing the public claims that Terence should be moving up rather than staying down, as that will help him unlock his true potential, Andre thinks that this will be an idiotic move because he will not be able to settle well there. Advising the fighter to maintain his newly found position in the division, Andre stated that Terence is a skilled fighter who should be staying in the 154 division and should be fighting with all the capable boxers there, and should be aiming to become undisputed there, because no matter how many people try to disregard the middleweight class, it has an abundance of buzzing talent who should get more recognition.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, but in the weight class that he's in now, 154, there's enough smoke there where every fire department in New York would have to come out to put that flame out. It's a lot of smoke at 154. So I'd like to see him take control of that. I'd give him flowers for becoming undisputed at 54 also. But I think that's going to be a tough task. There's some really exceptional 154 pounders now, and they keep knocking it out. So I think, it would be a monumental climb to go up to 68 when there's so much work at 50.
Being on the same page as these analysts and their takes on Terence's decision to move up, famed media personality and analyst Stephen A. Smith thinks that in this fight, Canelo will be the winner, because though Crawford is an excellent talent, he does not have the same power as his opponent and will most probably not fight Canelo when he faces him inside the ring, which will eventually be his biggest downfall. Elaborating on his stance, Stephen stressed the fact that when it comes to Canelo, you can't really pinpoint any weak point possessed by him, because his performance in his last couple of fights, especially against Jermell Charlo and Caleb Plant, seems to be absolutely flawless. Mentioning the major attribute that the Mexican fighter has that makes him so unique, Stephen added that no matter what, he always finds a way to throw off his opponents by not letting them get away from him or allowing them to get comfortable inside the ring.
My concern is that he won't hurt Canelo. And if he doesn't hurt Canelo and can't hurt Canelo, then Canelo keeps coming. Similar to how he stalked Charlo, how he stalked, once he had Plant hurt, he chased after him. Canelo is a very powerful individual who can get exposed by a boxer, because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot.
Just like Canelo, Stephen also ventured into the strengths that are possessed by the American fighter. According to him, although Terence is a little rusty when it comes to pushing his opponent around the ring by utilizing the power and sheer size, one area where he does indeed shine the brightest is the art of boxing and outmaneuvering his opponent by not allowing them a moment to think what exactly is going on. Adding on to this opinion, Stephen stated that Terence is a much better fighter who not only knows how to expertly shift his stance in accordance to the one that his opponent has, but he also knows how to equip appropriate skills in response to the attacks that his opponent might throw his way throughout the duration of the fight. While talking about the progression of this potential fight, the analysts labeled this to be a huge problem for Canelo.
You know what, I think my initial reaction would be to say that I think that Crawford would be the superior boxer, as great as Canelo is, as seasoned as he is, with 65 fights, if I recall, on his record. He's phenomenal. But Crawford is something special. I think that he's a better pure boxer. I think boxing-wise, he's going to give Canelo fits.
Mentioning the details about the way this potential fight might go, Stephen added that looking at all these attributes that the fighters have acquired over the years of experience, the only possible way for Terence to triumph will be if he tries to outbox Canelo while also making sure that he does not remain too defensive and does try to attack the Mexican fighter whenever he gets the chance, especially in the earlier round, because of by any chance Canelo finds his footing in the game and realizes that he does not face that hard of opposition, he will try everything in his power to retaliate, causing Terence to lose the bout altogether.
To me, can Crawford hurt him? I would pick Crawford to win if he can box and stay away. I don't believe he can hurt Canelo. And if Canelo catches him, it could be trouble. It will be a very interesting fight. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. And I'm wondering whether he could stay away. Again, Crawford is the superior boxer. But if he can't hurt Canelo, he can't keep him off of him. And that's where the problem lies.
Shifting the narrative towards the motivation that caused Terence to pursue this fight this passionately, Stephen revealed the fact that in their last meeting, just a few weeks, Terence stated that at this point, even though he enjoys the act of fighting, the most crucial factor for him is to create a long-lasting legacy for himself, where he will be remembered as one of the best fighters and champions that the world has ever witnessed. Stephen also emphasized that after everything that Terence has been through, he does not condemn his decision of moving up and fighting his choice of opponent, all while ignoring all the perfectly available fighters at 154, such as Virgil Ortiz, Boots Ennis, and Jermell Charlo. Because the point that Bud is at, there is no surprise that he does not want to accept hard fights, which will eventually harm his legacy.
He says it's a legacy fight. He thinks about Tommy Hitman Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard and others moving up in weight, and he believes he can do the same, and he wants to do the same against a fighter the caliber of Canelo Alvarez, which is why we haven't really seen him in the ring against anybody else, because he doesn't want anybody else. He wants the major fight. He has every right to want to avoid getting in the ring with risky fighters like Boots Ennis or Charlo or Ortiz or anybody else, because he wants Canelo.
Now, what Stephen might have meant by these statements is how, after all, that the fighter has given in the last couple of years, and all all the times he proved his worth to the otherwise skeptical audience, the community still ignored him, not only referring to accept any fight with him, but also simultaneously robbing him of a chance at getting the bigger and better fights that he always wanted, but now cannot avail for the sole reason that he is past the age of fighting boxers who are in their primes. Accusing politics and biased stakeholders for this, Stevens stated that this heinous involvement has caused inseparable damage to Terence's career and is something that should be noted by the public before they go on accusing him of being selfish and a villain.
On one hand, you don't like it because Charlo is there and others for him to fight. On the other hand, you have to look at him and say, wait a minute, he is 35, 36 years old. He's been around the game a long time. He was denied his shine a long time because people didn't want to get in the ring with him. To put himself in this position where he gets to prevent people now, to avoid people now, after spending so many years of watching people avoid him. Unfortunately, that's the business of boxing. He's a victim of it, not a villain in it.
So in the end, what do you guys think about this potential fight? Do you think that this time it will finally be made, or all these claims are nothing but fake? And if that fight does happen, who do you pick to win? Make sure to tell us about your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to our channel.